If your cat has chronic kidney disease, you may be asked to do subcutaneous fluids, especially when they get to stage 3, as that will help their dehydration levels. There are 2 usual ways of doing this. The first is using a syringe, and the second is using a giving set with the bag of fluids. Now, I find the syringe easier, so this is the method I'm going to show you now, which is how to draw the fluids up ready. So for the syringe method, you need the following items. You need a 60ml syringe or a larger syringe. This depends on how much fluid you've been asked to give. And this is a lock syringe. I also find it easier to use a smaller syringe. This is a 20ml syringe to actually pull the fluids. So there's nothing wrong with using the bigger one, but I just find it easier to pull it with the smaller one. You then need a bag of fluids. So in the UK, we tend to use Aquafarm. There are different ones. And yeah, this one will be absolutely fine. Then you need 2 different needles. So you need a needle, doesn't really matter which gauge, in order to pull the fluid. So all this is doing is going into the bag. This is a 23 gauge needle, but you can go bigger to be able to pull fluids out more. And finally, the most important part is a butterfly needle. Now this is from the brand Tro Venicet, and it's the 23 gauge as well. So in order to pull the fluids, you need to take your needle. So I'm taking the 23 gauge needle, and I'm going to attach it onto the syringe. Now this is a cone end, so it just pushes on. That's absolutely fine for drawing the fluids, but the lock one is handy for actually pushing the fluids into the cat. Now you'll see there's 2 ends. There's 2 ends to this. This is the bit that you'd use if you were using a giving set, and you'd snap that plastic off. But if this rubber end is where you draw fluids and where you inject fluids. Now you just push the needle into the rubber part. This can be quite tough, by the way, and you need to sort of get the right in the centre. And this self-seals, so it won't leak once you've done it. So you now pull the fluids. Now this is the trickiest, or the longest part. It does take quite a while to pull the fluids, and you need a little bit of strength. So whilst the fluids are pulling, I'll just talk you through some other things. So first of all, it took us a long time with our cat to get her used to giving fluids. The first few weeks, I have to tell you, we probably shed more tears than anything. It was so stressful. She hated it, she didn't know what we were doing. And when I watched the videos online of people giving fluids, their cat was always happy and calm. So at this point, you want to pull your syringe down to whatever fluid amount you're giving. So we give 50 mils every other day. The general rule of thumb is 10 mils for every pound of weight of cat. Ours is quite a small cat, so we're keeping it with 50 mils. So you're now putting the needle straight into the top, and we're pushing to put it into the bigger syringe. So like I said, you can just pull with the bigger syringe if you've got the strength to do that, but I already find it quite tough with the 20 syringe, so I prefer this method. So yeah, when I watch these videos, I'd see these quite calm cats, and people would just either distract them with food or just be able to go up to them and pop the needle in, and that is absolutely not my cat, and many other cats as well. So please don't lose heart. After quite a few weeks, we've now got it down where she will accept this. One of the benefits of the syringe method is it's quicker, much quicker. So we can now give her fluids in around a minute, which is about the length of time she'll put up with this. So I'm just continuing to pull the fluids. This is all best to do long before your cat is anywhere near. This is the longest section. But some people get on perfectly well with using the giving set in a drip method, so you'd put this bag above the cat. If you've got a more patient cat, then absolutely this could be the way to go. I also found it difficult to use the method I was shown by the vet to get the needle into the skin. Again, at the vet, my cat was just sort of frozen in fear, and she showed us the pinch and tent method. My cat's really small and doesn't really have much scruff in order to pull it. What I found much easier, I was shown another method where you actually lift the skin by the fur, which doesn't hurt at all. That was my worry on first doing it. It really doesn't hurt them. I have another video showing that method. That can be the hardest bit, I think, putting the needle into the cat. That is a real mental thing you have to adjust to. It just feels very unnatural, but I promise you it does get easier each time you do it. It will just become part of your routine. And that doesn't mean we've been doing it for quite a few weeks now. We still have bad sessions where my cat Pepper is just not feeling it, or she runs off with the needle still in her, or whatever. It happens. It absolutely happens. Right, we're almost there now, just adding the last little bit. Okay, so now we've got this filled. You want to take this needle off and throw it away into your sharps container. This will be discarded and cleaned, and then you now want to open your butterfly needle. If you could open the packet, that is. So as I said, this is 23 gauge and this is called Veneset. So you'll see it has a tube onto it, tube attached to the needle, and the butterfly part of it. Now, one of the great things about butterfly needles is I find once you put them in, you don't have to hold on to them, which I did find you had to with the other type. Now, this has a little cap at the end, so you just unscrew that. And then with the lock type, you just screw that in. So instead of pushing it down, which is the cone type, that just tightens. That means when you're actually pushing the fluids, that wire doesn't come flying off. And then as the final part, just to get it ready, you would just take the lid off and just get rid of any air bubbles that are left. Once you've seen a few coming out, put the lid back on and that's ready. However, I'll just show you, when you actually insert it into the cat, you want to make sure the hole on the needle is face up to you. So the point of the needle is going into the cat. That makes it the most comfortable for them. Now, if you're giving more fluids, you'd want to prepare your different syringes now ready. And you'd just be, once the needle is into the cat, you'd just unscrew that and pop it onto the next syringe. That's one thing I like about giving 50 mils is you don't, oh, I've actually just gone a bit past 50 mils, so I need to get rid of a little bit, but it means you can just do it all in one session, which makes it a lot easier for us and for Pepper. So yeah, if you have any questions, please do leave them below, but I found the syringe method much, much easier for me personally than the other method with the giving set. And there's lots of tips on my other video on how to actually put the needle into the cat. So thank you very much.